Since we've all lived overseas, right, abroad, what did you discover about yourself after that trip or after that stay? Let's start with Arya because we're like foreigners here, right? So what did you discover about yourself that you're anyways like proud of, or like I didn't know I'm like this?
Yeah, or maybe coming to Canada.
Yeah, coming to Canada, what's something you learned about yourself?
So, I mean, it's been a year since I've been here.
Just over a year, right?
Yeah, over a year and a month, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. I knew it just passed.
I know. So, it's been a rewarding year. I learned a lot. So, I have been away from my parents since 18. So I even during my undergraduation, I was in another state, and I had to travel almost 14 hours to go home. So I used to go home maybe once 3 months, or maybe once every 6 months, whenever I get a chance. So it's for me, I've always been away from home. So coming here wasn't too much.
It wasn't too overwhelming.
Yeah,
and you weren't too homesick.
Because I love. I mean, it's not like I love being away from home. It's just I love the experience that I get.
New experiences.
Yeah. And Canada has been very welcoming, and I don't regret coming here because I had options of coming here or going to UK. But
the UK?
To the UK.
Wow.
I want to go to the UK.
I mean, I want to go to the UK, but I wouldn't love staying there. I mean, I would love to visit. But then I think, so I don't regret coming here because Canada has been, I mean, Canadians are, they're very...
We're the nicest.
Yes.
I mean, you guys are nice.
That's some things that I noticed while traveling. Canadians are just so much nicer.
Yeah.
I mean...
Sometimes.
I would say.
Yep. How about you, Jaden?
Oh, okay. I think I learned, I feel like most of my life I never really went on even vacations a lot and things like that. I found out I really love also just exploring new places. I think I want to spend a lot of time traveling and living other places. I just feel like there's so much. I have this FOMO, fear of missing out. I have this FOMO of not seeing enough of the world in my life.
Yeah.
And I get nervous that I'm gonna get so comfortable in my space. I like the kind of uncomfortableness, and I feel like from traveling gave me this extra level of independence. I became pretty independent in the last few years, but I became extra independent, especially when I traveled alone. It was also my first time ever traveling. I had never been on a flight before. I'd never been on a plane, and I was traveling in Europe by myself. And I loved it. I found out I just want to do more of it, and I'd like to see more. I also discovered that Canadians are so much nicer. Just not nice as human beings. It's polite.
Yeah.
It's just the one thing I noticed the most is when you're walking around Europe. I think I just hit my mic. When you're walking around Europe, people are just everywhere. When you're walking around in Canada and there's crowds, people try to move out of the way. And they say sorry and they move around and they. It's people elsewhere are trying to be in your way. They're so not.
I know.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just this politeness that only Canadians have. That if I'm walking on the sidewalk down the street and a stranger passes me, I smile at them. That's that's what I was taught. You just you say
Canadian,
hi,
right, Jaden?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Or you walk past and you just smile at them. You just be polite. You always say thank you. You always even if I don't know you, I'm gonna be polite. If I move past you and they're oh, excuse me, sorry,
or
people don't do that.
Yeah. Or if you don't smile at people, I realize and notice that Canadians, you guys do this.
Yeah,
That's
we
not
do
even
a lot
a
of
smile.
that.
It's not a smile. It's like
Yeah,
it's
right,
like
right.
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
It's the acknowledgement.
The-
They think
Yeah,
the
yeah,
acknowledgement's
right?
enough.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
yeah, right.
or the eyebrows.
Sometimes I try not to look too happy because like obviously you're a stranger, so you don't want
Yeah.
to make you.
No, you don't want to be like,
But I'm always like walking by someone and like give them a nice
Yep.
little like
Yep.
I mean, yeah,
You
it's the
know what I mean?
acknowledgement. I know.
yeah.
yeah, it's just
And-
like politeness.
And also, like as you said, like when you're walking through the sidewalk, I've noticed that if you're walking slow, they move out of your way and they give you space. They're like, go ahead. Like
Yeah.
I'm slow, so
You pass people on the sidewalk, you don't just keep like let's say there's a group of like at least 2 of you, and you're walking and you're blocking the sidewalk. Like you will, as soon as you are going up to the person, walk one by the other so
I
they can
know.
get by as well.
Yeah.
People don't do that in other places.
No.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's the little things. I know.
Yeah.
I think it's also because you guys value the personal space thingy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's like an imaginary bubble. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going this way, and then the other one's like being repelled by this imaginary bubble in a
Yeah.
way. I don't know.
so that you
But I
don't
also enjoy my
burst the
personal
bubbles.
space.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I realized.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think I like the idea of personal space too,
Mhm.
because coming from India, it's very populated. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I have this thing that I know that when I'm going back home, I'm gonna get a reverse cultural shock
Right.
where with people
Oh.
always in my place, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I
people
don't know how,
move
like-
away from me. I mean,
I like crowds. They don't really bother me. Like even as a very short human being, it doesn't
I mean,
really
good.
bother me that much.
Yeah.
But like too much of being in my personal space
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
bothers me.
Mhm.
That's only happened to me post COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Like before COVID, I was like fine.
Mhm.
Now since COVID, like if someone, I'm kind of slowly getting over it because the busyness of like this being a student town.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
after COVID, on the bus is super crowded. They're crowded all the time
Oh yeah.
with all the students.
Oh, especially if
someone's
you're in the
besi-
Queen's Way.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're like here or like Queens campus to like west to Maine, it's
Mhm.
so crazy busy. The buses are like, they say full bus and you can't get on it. Like
Yeah.
they're super full.
Mhm.
And then I'm like stuck between all these people and I'm like, in my brain, I'm just like really annoyed
Mhm.
and mad because I'm in this tight space with too many people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I never was like that.
I
before
know.
COVID.
I'm
Yeah.
the same.
Just because COVID made me appreciate my space and made me used to like backing up and like stickers on the ground and you had to like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like Canadians, they try giving space when they can. Like if it's too crowded, there's nothing that they can do. But then if there's a chance, they'll give you like they'll move away
Right.
and give you that space.
yeah, I'll be like here,
But
sorry.
yeah, sorry. I mean, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
but that's the thing. When you go back in India, no one really cares. They're like, you know what? Like there's the space. I'm gonna sit right
That's
between.
our
you know?
space.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
everyone's space.
everyone's space. We need space to
Yes,
sit.
yes, yes,
So
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just that kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
but I love the idea of having personal space. You can
I
breathe.
love personal space.
I know you can
love her.
breathe.
I know. I love a
Exactly.
good social recharge after like a big social event. That's my fave. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so my answer to that would
Mhm.
be from like what I learned going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks was we have it really good. Like we really do. I grew up. I honestly like the only place I ever went to before I went to Costa Rica was Florida, just for like family vacations.
Mhm.
So I never really got the experience of going anywhere outside of. Okay, wait. I know that Costa Rica is a part of the United States. Wait, yeah. No, not the United States,
The
the
Americas,
USA.
the connect-
America.
the continent, Yep.
America.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
so I've never been outside of the US or Canada.
Oh, okay.
So going to Costa Rica, I didn't really know what to expect. And as soon as I stepped foot off of that plane in that airport, the air quality and just the quality of life,
Mhm.
like obviously they're happy with what they have, what they have, and like that's amazing. But it's just like it's so cool to reflect on what you have and what you kind of
Take for granted.
and then go somewhere else and see that they're so happy with what they have when you know it's not like the best it can possibly be.
Mhm.
Like their hydro wires are like this thick.
Mm.
Like, and it's just I don't know, and like there's just trash everywhere, and it just like there's a constant smell, and the air quality is just like constantly bad in some
Sounds
places.
familiar, like my country.
Yeah.
Mine too. So it's
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Mhm, and it's just crazy. And then the culture shock, I was at this event. It was kind of like a fair. It was like a big fair. And I hadn't used like a public washroom yet. And so, I was like watching this horse show, and I go to use the bathroom, and I just walk in, and I go into the stall, and I realize there's no toilet paper. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And so I go out, and I'm like, hey, like there's, because there was like some ladies sitting at a table outside of the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, like there's no toilet paper in there. Do you know where I can find some? And she hands me like a handful of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, like whatever. And so I go do my business, come back out, and I'm walking away, and she's like, oh, and like she's talking to me in Spanish, and she's bringing me over, and she said in Spanish like $1, and I was like,
oh my
like,
god,
nothing
she
is
said,
free.
She said 100 colones, because 100 colones is like their version
$1.
of like $1.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I have to pay for that. I was like, and then you can't flush toilet paper down the toilet, like all that kind of stuff. I was like, I don't know, it was just very culture shock. It was kind of crazy. So I definitely came back, and I didn't take as much for granted anymore, for sure.
Okay,
Nice.
Fun fact. So the thing is, if you come to India, we don't use paper towels. We use water. We have the faucets. The faucets.
The bidet.
Right.
Yeah.
you have bidets? I'm so jealous of that.
So that
Singapore, we
was
have
something.
bidet.
It's so much
Don't
less
have bidet.
wasteful too.
It is.
Like,
So you go out and ask for paper towels, they'll be like, what? Yeah, so it's like you have faucets that you can use.
it's actually technically a lot more hygienic, and it's a lot better for you. And I'm jealous, and I want a bidet, and I want all of Canada to use bidets.
Oh,
That's just
yeah.
like-
So
Shout
that's
out to
one
all
thing.
the bidet users out
I
there.
know.
I just want to have that lifestyle. I want to use bidets.
I mean, and shout out to all international students who came here from using, bidets, and then just switching to paper
and like
towels.
not
It's
even the good
tough.
toilet paper. All like public spaces has the shitty like see-through like even here, not the trash. All public spaces literally have like
The
not
same
even the
crappy
good toilet paper.
Oh, yeah.
And also buying toilet paper is excruciatingly annoying.
And my turn.
Mhm.
I discovered after living outside of my country for over a decade that just simple things that it's you only have yourself, but it's not about you. Contradicting, right? I mean, I only have myself
Expand.
to rely to, or I can rely only on myself.
Okay, yeah.
But things that are happening, they're not always about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool
Oh,
perspective.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's deep too.
And because sometimes you have this mentality that because I grew up very sheltered, nurtured, and I'm always the best, and I'm always like when I go out there, they'll acknowledge and recognize my prowess, my greatness. But no, girl.
Yeah, I know.
No, everyone is like you. You go through the same stuff, probably not literally same, but
Go through the same struggles.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting because my mom, like when I first moved out from my home, she said to me, like this is the only thing that she said to me: you're your own person, but don't take anything personally.
See, I
it.
am the opposite. I take everything personally.
I mean, it's hard.
That's a big struggle of mine. Is I am insanely sensitive.
Sometimes
Pisces.
I am also slightly sensitive. It depends. I've become a lot less sensitive, and I think that my sensitivity has lowered with my hyper independence.
Yeah.
I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it really
It does. It does.
my
for
hyper
sure.
independence has risen in
I
my
love being
in my
independent
sensitivity.
girly.
And I think
love
traveling also helps a lot with
Yeah.
that perspective. Like, once you start getting independent, you start having those experiences,
Yeah.
you kind of start realizing that maybe not everything is, like you don't have
Yeah.
to take everything personally. Like you just kind of
Yeah,
just go
I
with the
just try to
flow.
I feel like that's such good advice. Your mom gave
I
you.
know, I'm like,
Because most people who or anything in the world that would probably offend you personally is like most of the time someone else like deflecting onto you.
Yep.
like most people things say about you that is remotely hurtful tends to be them deflecting about themselves. So
Yeah.
Don't take things personally because
Yeah.
sometimes they're just projecting
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
not all the
you.
time. Like sometimes,
But sometimes, right?
Sometimes people need to be told. Don't get me wrong.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, discoveries. I love it. On a lighter note, okay, let's do some
Just-
recent stuff. Right? What are the recent discoveries that you had or
Recent self-discoveries?
No,
or
probably
discoveries?
anything. Like for
Anything.
example, food or place or an experience or
Oh,
a facet of yourself. Probably yes.
okay. So as you know, a holiday just passed, Groundhog Day.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, please
Groundhog Day.
enlighten us and educate
And
us.
I've recently been educated and super like hyperfixated and like obsessed with the groundhog, one of the groundhogs that has been chosen in its family for decades. Its name is Puxatawny Phil. And I love Puxatawny Phil. And I think he's so iconic. And if he, on Groundhog Day comes out of his little home and there's a shadow, then there's 6 extra weeks or like 4 extra weeks. I might need to Google this.
Okay.
Of winter. And then if not, it's, the rest of winter and then it goes straight to spring. So it's like an early spring or a late winter, depending on the shadow. I'm going to tell you right now if that is correct, what I just said. Yeah, if a groundhog comes out on this day and sees its shadow, it will retreat back and winter will go on for 6 more weeks.
Oh.
So yeah, if he sees a shadow, there's more winter.
Okay.
If he doesn't, it's spring and he can like roam about, do his thing.
Oh.
The one that is proven this, and I have been seeing all over the internet, is Puxatawny Phil. I love Puxatawny Phil.
Is he cute?
He is cute. He's a very cute groundhog. I love him. And for the last years, like I feel like every Groundhog Day, it's like winter all the time. And then this year, he came out, and he didn't see a shadow, and it was spring. And I was like, oh my God.
I was literally in my hammock last Saturday.
I was there.
Felt like St.
I was
Patty's
there.
Day.
It was rare.
Felt like
and
St. Patty's.
it was spring and I was so happy. And then it was like super warm out. Like all last week.
Yeah.
And then we get this.
Yep.
And the ground is covered in snow. It's freezing. And we still have a little bit of winter left to go.
Yeah.
But I thought we were going to slowly transition into the spring.
Yeah. I thought
and also,
winter was just over.
From this, I was extremely frustrated, and so were like many of the people in Canada. Because it's winter and it's gross, and I hate it. And I don't like snow, and I don't want to ruin my shoes. So
Right, not the UGG pads.
And I found out that Groundhog Day is like 70% wrong. The groundhogs are wrong 70% of the time. And like that's basically saying the opposite.
Let me just.
So why is this still a holiday and why are we still doing it?
I didn't even.
I have a request, please. Yes, you first.
Well, for the longest time, I didn't know what the heck Groundhog Day was for.
Exactly.
I thought
I always knew about
a bad day about groundhogs.
I
literally thought it was a day.
I just want to hear it again, please. It was a moment for me. Can you do the Groundhog Day? Can you just do it again? Because it was like,
oh my God! Yeah, I was gonna make fun of her.
The
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog
Day. The way you said
Say it
it
again,
first.
please.
The way you
No, it wasn't like that.
In the edits, you will go back in the future. You'll
Yes,
go back
yes.
and say that over and
over. I know.
No, the way you said Groundhog Day first, you said Groundhog.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Stop making fun of me.
This is the sensitive side of JJ.
Yeah, no, I don't really care that much. Okay.